Wapi.
Where the utensils.
And this is where I go back to the question. As the county assembly, your job in oversight is to ask those questions and
Which
to ask.
We have done that.
Whom have you asked the questions?
So we address our issues through the committee.
Okay.
Yes.
Has the committee summoned the relevant officer? And who's his officer?
No, we were not about... We get back to the assembly on Tuesday, but we decided for our children and for our people that we are going to... that we are going to talk before we open our assembly next week. Yeah.
So you haven't summoned the... Under what department is this feeding program? Is it under education, health?
It's under education, and mind you, we don't even have a CEC, a minister.
So there's no CEC for education?
There's only an acting one. The one who was vetted by the assembly, she resigned.
Okay. So the current one is acting, pending?
One is acting, pending, maybe filling of that gap.
So acting because they also have another...
They also have another department. The ACD department. No, the agriculture department.
Okay.
Yeah.
So agriculture CEC is acting currently as ECD CEC.
As the education.
As acting education.
CEC.
But there's a chief officer.
Yeah, we have a chief officer, but the chief officers that we're having were the chief officers who were nominated by Waitito.
Okay, but there's a chief officer.
Yes.
There's somebody who earns a salary to do this job.
Yes.
And this person is accountable
to
the people of Kiambu through their representatives, the county assembly. So you can summon this chief officer to come and answer.
Kindly also note, Eric, that this guy, this acting chief officer, has not been vetted by the current assembly.
Okay. The picture that you paint is that if you were to walk into or drive into Kiambu today, that everything is at a standstill, nothing is really happening, and we're just kind of going through the motions. Is that the case?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I would say there are some things that are happening. You know, some services are running in well, but whatever is, if you look at our governor's page, he's giving 1 month chicks. So a house gets 5 of them. Every ward, 400 people, they get 5 chicks. So a chick is basically like 100 bob. So a house gets 5 chicks worth 500 bob. And that is what he's been doing currently. But they've not been able to come to my constituency or my ward. I've not seen them. And the issue of bursaries, right now he's issuing bursaries for himself. We used to do that with the MCAs and our ward bursary committees so that we can be able to devolve services. But he said we are still in bursaries. So today he's doing it for himself. So that is basically what is happening in Kiambu.
What does that mean?
Yeah, like, I don't know how someone can steal a check that has been addressed to someone else.
But he doesn't need the county assembly member.
But our Bursary Act states very clear that you're supposed to distribute those checks and it's a devolved function, so you're supposed to distribute those checks at the ward level, not at the constituency level.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at ward level does not say with a county assembly member.
Yes.
There's a ward administrator.
Yeah, no. There's a bursary committee that does that.
We
just oversee because basically they don't get a budget to do those things. They don't get a budget for tents, for the PA. So the MCA comes in with his own money and does those things for them, just to work together with the members of the bursary committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
Yeah.
If I look, I'm looking at Governor Wamatangi's Twitter page. Yesterday he was doing the second phase of bursary disbursement, distributing bursary checks to 24,000 deserving students throughout the county. All beneficiary tuition checks will arrive at the respective schools this week. There he was again impacting lives by distributing the day-old chicks that you've talked about. So Kuku Kenyaji chicks disbursement in Tinganga Ward, Ndumberi Ward, Kiambu Sub-County, the things that he's been doing.
Yeah.
5-day polio vaccination exercise with Susan Nahumicha. Kiambu is one of those counties that have been targeted in this polio exercise. The health workers of Kiambu have been roped into this particular one. They are working. So
those are not tangible projects. Those are projects that are not accountable. all we were asking is, can he give us projects that can be accounted for? You see, when it comes to audit, maybe he comes to my ward and probably gives 500 people. And when probably the auditor is asking, the auditor can find maybe in their records, they give maybe like 2,000-3,000 people. How will they go back to my ward to determine how many chicks were given? So most of those projects are not tangible projects. And I think like in my ward, I would want projects that are helping my people. Like some people in my ward will do dairy farming and will be unable to take their milk to the collection point because the roads are bad. So is the issue of chicks important or the issue of roads? So my people have been asking, tutengeneze tu barabara. That is all they need.
From your understanding, how do they arrive at what projects then that they're going to take on as a county?
Yeah, so normally what happens at the assembly, we conduct our public participations and our citizen forums. So our members of the public will come and tell us are the projects that we think are important. And then we line them in order of priority. So when we line them, we present them to the assembly, and we have something called the annual development plan for Kiambu County.
Right.
Like what we did for last year on our annual development plan, nothing has been implemented at all.
Nothing.
Then we supplemented our budget. And there were some issues that we were supposed to supplement even for ourselves. I mean, like our roads, our what, nothing happened. So actually the budget that we got for almost 17 billion in Kiambu, I think in terms of development in my ward, I would say nothing was done.
Okay, let's just take a step back. So the annual development plan, essentially what it is looks at through the year, this is what is going to happen.
Exactly, per ward.
Per ward.
Yes.
Okay. And would you say that in this plan, because it's the example that you've used a lot this morning, that the issue of chicks and brooding chicks, whatever, was not on that plan? Was it part of it?
It was part of it.
It was part of it.
Yeah.
Roads were also part of it.
Yes.
And from what you're saying, it would have been better.
And markets.
And markets.
And boda sheds.
Okay.
ECD centers.
Okay. All of those
water
were in the plan.
All of them were in the plan.
So water connectivity, border sheds, ECD centers,
Markets.
roads and markets have not been touched.
They have not been
The
touched.
only thing that has been touched are the chicken, the poultry,
Yeah,
essentially.
which in my ward they have not come.
Even that has not happened.
Yeah, has not happened.
Okay, so you can see the non-activity over time.
Yeah.
The non-activity did not start yesterday and then here we are today.
Yeah.
It's been over time. What has been the mechanism that you've used for complaint? What has been the mechanism that you've used for, because essentially you oversight. You as the MCAs oversight. The question is, what has been taken in terms of a complaint mechanism to the county executive and said, excuse me, this is the plan. This is what we all agreed by way of public participation as sent by the members of the county assembly and then yourselves.
So
but we've not seen anything happen.
So what we've been doing, we've been using our committees and our committee chairs to follow up on some of those issues. We've been summoning the ministers to come and explain what is happening. And I think as much as you're oversighting, there's normally an issue of goodwill. So we've gone to his office a couple of times and we've asked him what is happening. And every time we are there, the governor is always responding and saying, by next week, we'll have started your ward. By next week, the contractor is here. The contractor is, you understand what I mean? It got to a point, the governor asked the members of the county assembly to bring contractors to build ECDs. And we told him that is not our work.
What do you mean to bring contractors?
Like if I am a contractor or I have a friend who is a contractor, and we told him no, that is not our work. It got to a point, governor told me, enda utafuta kware huko kwenyu. Ama somewhere near. I mean, I am asking, I am not an engineer. I have not been working in a quarry. I don't know what is that, I don't know which maram is good, which maram is bad. So I told him, Governor, and I have those messages here. I told him that is not my work. That is the work of your engineers. So every time you go there, you're bombarded with something.
Mheshimiwa, don't you think this is it's political speak? It's like saying, let's work together.
which I don't have an
let's
issue.
work together. If you've got a preferred contractor,
Yes.
you can bring the preferred
that's not
contractor.
my work.
If they pass the job, then
but
fine.
but according to me, that is not my work. Use the right channel to get your contractors. Advertise. Do those things and get the right contractors. I don't need anything from them. That is their work. That is not my work. My work is to oversight and to represent my people and to bring on the table on what they want. That is it. So it got to a point where, nothing is moving. Every time, and then, by the way, when you go to governor's office, we are seen in corridors. It got to a point where he cannot see us in his office. So he'll see with his CCTV, Mheshimiwa has come. So we'll get out, we'll address you in corridors. And you're told,
he'll meet you out there.
Yeah, so it got even, we got tired, we don't go there. Then we got to some point that you say, this governor is joking with us. A whole year, Mashinani people are complaining, the noise is there. You cannot even be able to attend a function because everyone is complaining. So we decided enough is enough. So that is where we are.
Mheshimiwa, if people are complaining, people wouldn't be turning up when the governor is coming to the ground to meet people, to distribute checks. When it's coming to the ground to distribute bursaries, people would be shouting and heckling him down. They are not.
In my ward. No, did you see the videos of Ruiru yesterday?
Yesterday's
Those are the
Ruiru
ones
video.
you've seen. We have videos here, and I'll forward you for yesterday. You see what happened in Ruiru.
What happened in Ruiru? Tell
He
us.
was heckled. They're all over. Yeah? No, that was in Juj Thika. I'll forward you some that were in Ruiru. And actually, the MCAs for Ruiru are very brave.
So there's some areas where he's getting heckled.
Like now in Thika we have 6 MCAs, only 2 turned up. In Ruiru, all of them turned up, but they told him, you cannot give those bursaries because these people, you cannot get someone from almost Kamulu to Ruiru town to get a bursary of 2,000. They refused. So the MCAs told the governor, you give them fare of 1,000 bob before anything. And the governor did not want to give them fare. So it became chaotic. The MCAs took the checks, but they are giving the checks today.
Let me address some structural issues.
Yes.
And this is on the constitution of the county government. Okay? The county government comprises of governor, deputy governor, CECMs, who shall not exceed 10. Under each CECM, there will be chief officers. Those are like the PSs.
Yes.
Under the PSs, there will be the directors.
Yes.
Okay. So let us start. We have a governor in office. We have a deputy governor in office. How many county executive committee members do we have?
In Kiambu,
Yes.
I think we have 10.
10.
Yes.
Okay,
But
one was
we have
resigned.
gaps of 2.
2. So we have 8.
Yeah, 8.
We have 10 departments,
Yes.
but 8 occupied by CECMs.
Yes.
How many COs do we have?
The ones that he had advertised were 22.
So he advertised for a position of 22 COs.
Yeah.
These ones applied, were vetted by the County Public Service Board.
Yes.
And the names were submitted to him
The
for
governor, yes.
for nomination.
For forwarding to the county assembly for vetting.
So he was supposed to nominate them, then he sends them to the county assembly for vetting. How many did he transmit to the county assembly for vetting?
He has not even one.
Not a single one.
Not even one.
We are talking about since Aweke Biblia Chini. Hivi.
Imagine a county that.
So the county assembly of Kiambu has vetted county ministers, CCs.
The CCs have been vetted.
They have been vetted.
Yes.
But the county assembly of Kiambu has never vetted a single
chief officer. Yes.
So the ones that are in office are the ones that were in the previous administration.
Actually, Waitito's administration.
So these are the Babayao.
Yes.
How long were their contracts running?
Now they get 1 month contract. After every 1 month contract, they get another one. So actually,
previously they were under 3-year contract. Were they not?
Yes.
Have they all expired? These 3-year contracts.
All of them have expired.
When did the last one expire? Do you know?
I think last year in September.
So by September 2022, all the contracts for the serving COs in Kiambu had expired. Some
were in September and some were in December.
So let's say by January this year,
everything had expired.
Everybody's contracts for the period of 3 years under Waitito's term and Governor Nyoro had expired.
Exactly.
Now, since January, what has been happening?
So we've been using those the same CEOs, and one thing I can tell you is that those CEOs are not committed.
So all of them are still in office?
Yeah, they're still in office under 1 month contract. Like now they got their contracts last week.
Serving for a month?
For a month.
When you summon them to the county assembly to, hold them accountable for whatever department they're running, do they appear?
They come and they're so frustrated. Actually, they're the ones who've been pleading with us, telling us to make sure that either their contracts are formalized or they go home and look for other jobs.
So why haven't they gone home?
Because they don't, they love Kiambu. They don't want to leave those gaps.
Have you summoned the governor himself?
Assembly, we don't have powers to summon the governor.
Have you summoned the CEC in charge of administration?
We have.
Have you summoned the county secretary?
We have an acting one.
Because the county secretary is the head of public service in the county, isn't
Yes.
it? Have you summoned the county secretary?
But the county secretary himself also is on a contract, a 1 month contract every month.
Okay. Have you summoned the CECM in charge of administration?
Yes, we have.
And have you asked these questions to that CECM?
We have.
What are the answers?
That is the work of the governor.
Okay. Would you say that there's reluctance from the governor to have this conversation and then actually do something about it?
Actually, it is laxity and lack of focus, for lack of a better word. Because how do you devolve services at the ward level when you don't have when your cabinet is not constituted? How do you devolve services to our people when our systems are not working? I mean, it is just something that is funny.
Okay. What recourse are you looking at now? Obviously, there's certain things structurally that you've tried to do that cannot work. County secretary, okay, well, that's the story. Administration, okay, acting, whatever. That has been tried, according to you. That's not working.
Yeah.
What's the next course
Well,
of
we
action
have
now?
tried dialogue. We have tried to involve the deputy president. We have tried to involve our leaders, actually even our bishops in our county. They've sat down with him, they've spoken to him, nothing comes out of it. We've tried to send our majority leader in Kiambu to go and speak to the governor on our issues, nothing comes out. So what we decided, even this majority leader, we impeach him. And we have let him off because he's not able to present our cases to this person. So, and we sat down and we said, it is a high time Kiambu people get to know what we are going through. That is when we did that presser.
The meetings that you've had with the deputy president, we've seen the deputy president mediating in Meru successfully. Well, it appeared to be successful. What is the result of your meetings with the deputy president with regards to the issues that you're facing in Kiambu?
So he's been very committed to helping us, and actually even Kiambu County. But every time our governor is called, he says he's going to change and they're going to work together as a team. So he's just given time. He actually, every time he asks for space and time to deliver. But what I keep saying, you cannot ask for time to deliver and you have a 17 billion budget. The first exchequer of 1.024, I think, billion in Kiambu already for 23-24 has been dispatched. The second one is on the way, and we're asking for time.
Has the money come to you?
To you, as in? To
The
Kiambu.
ones- The money has come to Kiambu.
To Kiambu.
It has landed in Kiambu.
Yes, it has.
And
So
what
do you
is
ask for
suppo-
time and you have the money? Yeah. It is just a question of implementing. I mean, can you imagine 10 years after devolution that we are still like my ward still is facing bad roads, inaccessible roads.
These meetings with the DP, have you actually has he chaired a meeting where the MCAs are there and the governor, so that you air your issues in front of him and then he says,
That is
this is how politically, how can we handle this?
that is where I think now we are heading, because we've been using our representatives. Yeah. We've not had a meeting like all the MCAs and the deputy president.
But you seem to be
But-
in agreement as members of the county assembly in the majority that the only way to get out of this problem is to remove the county boss and to have somebody else come in?
No. Actually, I don't know where people got that.
So the impeachment is not on the table?
Our presser didn't have any issue to do with impeachment.
Okay.
I don't know where you guys got that from, which is okay, because we understand you and we know where we're heading. There's nothing. There's nothing like that.
Okay, let's take a few steps back here.
No. Hold up, and hold up. There was nothing like that, by the way. What we are saying, we are frustrated and we want our issues to be addressed. And if our issues are not going to be addressed, the law will take its course.
And what do you mean by
What's that?
What are the legal options that you have?
It's not about legal. We don't need legal.
The law will take its course.
It's
Yeah. Well, it's legal, but for now, we've not gotten to that point.
Well, that's it.
But you know what we did? We
The legal
invited,
option that the county assembly has is if you have summoned the governor, he's not coming. If you have summoned the CECMs and they're not sufficiently responding to you, you also have a legal option goes all the way to impeachment.
You see, impeachment is an option.
Yes.
But we've not gotten there. What we did, we asked the Office of the Auditor General to give us a report. There are some places we were highlighting on wastages. So we invited the EACC and the DCI to come and investigate. After we get those allegations from the Office of the Auditor General, and we see their wastages and all those things, then we can proceed with the other issue.
As all these things are happening, as you're having your meetings, internal meetings, addressing the press, the 1 million plus voters of Kiambu County, plus everybody else who lives in Kiambu, is not getting the service that they deserve.
Yeah,
they may argue that way.
Yeah.
If you're saying that health is not performing at
Health
par,
is the worst performing.
then there are
in Kiambu,
people who are seeking health services in Kiambu and they're not getting them. If you're talking about, I'm seeing even people commenting, buildings and structurally not sound in Kiambu because of, and you cannot even summon and ask those questions. The children who should be benefiting from this ECD feeding program are not benefiting from it. So people are not getting service from the leaders that they elected. They elected you plus the governor and his deputy into office.
Yes.
They're not getting services from you and the governor.
Yes. But remember, my work, I don't have a budget. What I do, I make sure the budget has passed at the floor of the house. Then governor is supposed to implement it, and I'm supposed to oversight him.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is what I am doing. I am oversighting him because whatever was in my ADP has not been implemented.
Okay. So for you to say that any firm action will not be taken from here, what I'm hearing you say is that you're kind of baiting the governor at this point, aren't you? To say that, look, you know what? Well, we're not going to come right out and say we're going to ask for his impeachment. But if we can do this in public, maybe then he will speak to us, because we've tried to do it in closed quarters. We've tried to ask him for an invitation, rather invite him to have a discussion with us about some of these things, and it has not worked.
I think where Kiambu is now, I think now it's all systems go.
For what?
Anything that can be done to make sure Kiambu County people get the services that they require,
and what will
be done.
Okay, what would you prefer should be done to sort out this issue?
One, there's the issue of dialogue,
which you've said has not worked.
Has never worked. Actually, I've said here that we've never had a meeting with the governor since 1st January up to now. We make sure we constitute. He constitutes his cabinet, and of course we'll do our necessary bit. And we involve our leaders so that we can know where the challenge is, because we don't understand him. Then if those things don't work, we move on.
True.
The Office of the Auditor General. Yeah.
And you gather information.
We get all the information that we need.
There are two things that I'm hearing here. Number one, I'm hearing a county assembly that's not sure of its power and might.
We are.
Or a county assembly that is not speaking the same language that Ruth Waithera, MCA, is speaking.
You know,
that a majority of the members of that a sizable number of members in that county assembly are not thinking the same way you're thinking. That is one thing I'm hearing. Another thing that I could be hearing is that the county assembly of Kiambu members have sat down. They're unhappy, but you know what they're doing? They are pointing at the governor. You know, like when your mother just does this
and then
to you. You know what she means. All right? And in Kikuyu they say, "We dina kuorota."
You know, I know.
I did not point. I have
not pointed.
I know where you want me to.
That is
know
like
what you
what
want
I'm
me
hearing.
to say.
Is that what the county assembly is telling the governor?
No. It's not about that. By the way, we are sure of what we want. 100% sure. And those members, by the way, they are very upright people. If we want to impeach the governor, we can table the motion as early as next week. It's possible. We can do it. But you see, we need to have enough evidence that this is what has happened. But before we get that evidence, why can't we sit down, dialogue, look at the ADPs? Why didn't you implement this? Why didn't you implement this? Why did you do this? And we come up with a solution. If our people of Kiambu are happy, then we'll be happy. You see, I don't see the reason why governor should be cleaning roads at night when members of the public don't have enough drugs in hospital. Why would you be giving Kenyaji chicken to our people when our hospitals, even oxygen, is lacking? You understand what? Yeah.